Greetings programs, my name is DD. I'm a program from the old system. My user created me to help him create other programs. But that was a long time ago. A story for another time. For now, let's talk a little bit about how we program Video Warrior's battle gear for the costumes out of Tron. As you can see here, I have a couple props. This one ready to build, this one already built. And today though, we're going to talk about the arm gear in particular, the shoulder pads. I have a very special item here, shipped from the I/O tower in the eBay sector. We're going to open it in just a moment. First, I think many of you know, today is Tron's 37th birthday. So a very happy birthday to Yori if you're watching. If you're not watching, still a very happy birthday to Yori. Okay, JOFA manufactured the item in this box and the items that went into making this very authentic prop arm gear. JOFA was a company that manufactured sports protective gear. It was founded in 1926 in Sweden. It's very fitting then that this particular JOFA unit shipped from Sweden. So I imagine it's too small to see, but this unit came all the way from Sweden to join our collection. So JOFA is no longer in business today. I think they've been bought by Reebok, but they still make gear that resembles the old gear, but it's very hard to find the old gear these days that was actually used in making the costumes. So let's get started. Let's open this up and have a look. Very excited to see what condition it's in. Some of you may have joined me back in March when I did a live unboxing of, well, one of these guys. One of the Cooper helmets. But this is the first time I've live unboxed the shoulder gear that goes into the Video Warrior costumes. Those Swedes really pack things very well. Okay, we're getting there. Okay. Let me put this on. Is that better? Okay, got good protective wrap. You can see it in there. Very excited. Let's see what we have. Here we go. See, maybe I can turn it around. This is the front. No. Yes? This is the front. There we go. And this is the back. All these vintage JOFA chest protectors were made in the late 60s and early 70s. This particular style was made in the 70s, late 70s. I know that because it has one component that is needed to make the Tron Video Warrior arm pads, but it doesn't have the other component. We'll get into that. The reason I got this is because it has this arm pad. The shoulder bell is not the same as what was used in the movie Tron. That comes from a different unit. So first, I don't want to tear this apart on camera tonight, but it has a plastic tab, sometimes that's leather, that fastens the vest to the shoulder bell to the arm pad with rivets. This arm pad will have to be removed and use off the rest of it to make the arm pad for the Video Warrior costume. This elastic strap actually gets cut off on both ends and then re-sewn onto the back, and I'll show you that on the finished prop. Probably the most difficult part in working with this, as the costume designers of Tron faced, is that it's fabric, it's orange fabric. And of course, you know, there was no orange in the costumes in the film. So what they did was they used fabric paint to paint over the orange part of the fabric. And it takes many layers and sanding in between. I put about 2 or 3 base coat layers on and then sanded it down with 400 grit sandpaper, really smooth, and then put another layer on and sanded another layer. After about 5 or 6 layers, it really gets quite solid, but yet flexible because fabric paint. Now this is jacquard fabric paint. It's really quite flexible and it won't crack. So this is going to be perfect for making a Video Warrior shoulder pad. I'm going to set it right here and talk about how I made the prop. These are highly authentic because they use the exact components that were used in the film. I want to talk just a moment about how the top part of this, the shoulder bell, is actually the most elusive thing to find. It actually comes from an older JOFA motocross chest protector from about 1965 to 1968, somewhere in that range. It's very old. I've only ever found one on eBay or on the internet at all, and you're looking at it. So I've been searching ever since, but I've never found one. The bottom portion, however, you can see that that is the same as the portion from the vest. Hold it like this, maybe. There we go. The inside is pretty much, the same. I did use black fabric paint around the edge on the prop. In making the graphics for this arm pad, I did a combination of vinyl inkjet adhesive sheets. So I digitized the pattern of the graphics using stills from the film, printed onto inkjet adhesive vinyl sheets, cut it to fit, and then press it onto the panels of the arm pad. This goes all the way up under the shoulder bell for authenticity. You have to use a heat gun a little bit to get those to shape because they won't press perfectly flat. For the lines coming off of the centered circuit panels, I masked with masking tape and airbrushed to create all these external circuit lines that connect the two panels together and go to the edge. And I used airbrush to masking tape and an airbrush to paint the shoulder bell as well. The interesting thing about the shoulder bell is it comes attached to an arm pad. It just happens to be the original 1960s arm pad was actually much smaller. So you get the correct shoulder bell with the 60s unit, but a small arm pad. So you have to cut the leather off and then cut this to trim and then put a snap on it to snap into the top of the shoulder to a corresponding snap on the unitard. But the rivets are already there. You don't have to do any extra work there. There is one part where you have to fasten them together, as in the film. You see a white rivet here. I just pushed a rivet through. You can see the silver on the back side of the rivet, and then I painted it to match. And they did that presumably because of the same experience I found when I put this on, is that it just flops around like crazy. So they didn't want it to flop around apparently because they wanted it to look like one functional piece. So by putting that rivet there, not only is it authentic, but it's also looks really cool and stays functional. Here is the elastic that was cut off the edge and re-sewn onto the back. So what that looks like when you put the arm pad on is this. And again, it snaps on to the shoulder of the unitard so it doesn't flop over. So this particular unit, I'll probably use this, I've already done that one. This unit here, I'm going to use these arm pads to create another Video Warrior costume. I could do that they're all the same, whether it's Crom or Ram, Tron, Flynn, these are the same arm pads. So I can design the same graphics as before, do the same techniques as before, and make this arm pad. The trick is going to be that I can't really use this, or at least not as was done in the film. If I wanted to do some kind of custom Video Warrior, I'll hang on to this in case that comes in useful. What I plan to do to recreate the upper shoulder bell that I can no longer find anywhere on the planet is to cast it. So I'll create castings of these and make them myself. Although these are always going to be the coolest because they're the real deal. Okay, well, that's about it. Thank you for joining me for this quick live unboxing. I want to ask you, if you really enjoy the stuff I'm doing, if you're a big Tron fan, please consider supporting my work at patreon.com/ddprogram. Any support would be greatly appreciated. And also, if you like this Flynn shirt you see, I screen print these Flynn shirts myself after digitizing the graphics. They're printed front and back, and they're available at flemingcomputer.com/Tron. That's all for now. End of line.